Wouldn't it be wonderful if we could teach the gullible to never be so comfortable, but not to eat like comfort food, to disregard the bogus claims and pseudoscientific claims? Can you imagine just how much indeed the world would change? No more political predators playing on the populace, but ilkas and plots to shift and kill metropolis. No more villains with the title in the Bible, holding phony temper Bibles like the stuff they teach is vital. Imagine it was normal to have to prove a claim you make, and folks really feel ashamed to express some content that was fake. It's not to say we never make mistakes, it's just to say we go out of our way to show the evidence it takes.
Remain skeptical while you travel the road, the reason stay strapped with logic and facts. That's what it is, yo. Keep reality intact to help the truth grow. Question every claim, especially the ones you believe in. Remain skeptical while you travel the road, the reason.
I want to stop. I want to stop like this.
Okay.
Okay, we're done.
Enough dancing.
We're done.
No
We're
more
done.
dancing.
Revelry's over. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Road to Reason. I'm Tiffany.
I'm Allison.
And it's been a while. I've missed you.
I missed you too, my little cohort. I wanted to tell you, remember when you came on and you prayed for me when I was sick? And it was a few months ago.
Right.
But I got better. So I want to thank you because obviously the prayers worked and I got better.
All it took me was a moment to just pretend to care and say that I cared, and it worked.
I think it's like a placebo effect.
Of course.
I mean, there's no other explanation for why a viral illness would go away after a few days. Obviously, it's because you prayed for me. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
The next currency we're going to use is Facebook likes.
Oh, I know. I saw a funny picture. Jesus was going to cure this girl of cancer, but she only got 999 likes instead of 1,000 because people didn't share it enough, and so Jesus couldn't cure her cancer.
I like the ones that say, if you love Jesus, click like. If not, keep scrolling. Alrighty then. That's what they say. It's so passive aggressive.
I don't get a lot of that in my news feed for some reason.
Well, I've got lots of Christians on my news feed.
Oh, bless your heart. So how was Valentine's Day? We're going to get caught up on social issues first.
Valentine's Day was very quiet for me. And I put it this way, I enjoy the holiday for other people, but for me, since I don't have a boyfriend, I'm like, it just happens. Well, we were talking earlier about some Valentine's Day statistics. You want me to go through those? I want to see. Okay, so Valentine's Day, and every year, you buy the flower and the candy. This year in particular, we spent $52 million.
Not we.
Oh, not we.
Like
but as a country, spent $52 million on flowers. All right, $50 million on jewelry. He went to Jared. $83 million on apparel, sexy lingerie, and $18 million on special gifts. Battery power special gifts. $7.2 million on movies, 7.1 on restaurants. So dinner and movies, it's the same thing. That's kind of crazy. And $1.2 million on spas and salons.
And how much of that did you get?
I got nothing.
I got nothing too. I didn't even leave the house yesterday because it was like minus 14 degrees and windy.
It's so romantic. It makes people get all cuddled up.
I guess.
But we were talking about where Valentine's Day comes from and who this Saint Valentine was. So we were researching
there were multiple people called Saint Valentine. It's actually a Christian, originally it was a Christian holiday celebrating different saints. There was a Saint Valentine of Rome who used to apparently marry soldiers who were not supposed to get married, and the persecuted Christians and everything. What's really creepy, I think we have an image of this, is actually the skull of Saint Valentine is in a basilica in Rome. They keep it in this glass case so that everybody can come and worship and adore him, and it's a skull. There it is.
It's like something out of Indiana Jones.
Yeah, isn't that creepy? And all the flowers are around it and stuff, and they can come and celebrate and worship Saint Valentine.
Is that his picture in the background? That was his picture in the background.
Oh, that's a good point. I don't know.
I guess it might have been.
Is that him? Oh, it looks like it should be.
Yes. So his job was actually to marry people who couldn't get married.
Right. So I'm not really sure how that came to include flowers. And I mean, back in the day, there was traditional gifts involved with St. Valentine's. but it's become so commercialized now that I feel like it's sponsored by Hallmark and Godiva. And
Like,
you know,
to me, the traditional way, nothing's more romantic than going to pray to a dusty old skull in a glass box.
but if you notice, the churches have some really creepy things in them, because even the crucifixion of Christ, like, that's really disturbing.
There's the deification of this dead death. I've read about some cathedral that's got like St. Peter's knuckle bones or something in a jar somewhere, and they worship them. But
like, what does that do exactly? I'm not really clear.
It's like the most awesome fan fiction you can think of.
It's kind of, I mean, this is what cracks me up about like the marriage equality people,
right?
Or the opponents of that, because they think it's so disturbing and disgusting to see two men or two women be affectionate toward each other. It's disturbing and all this. And I'm thinking, you got a bloody, dying dude hanging on a cross, bleeding everywhere with a crown of thorns that your little children are seeing every weekend, and that's okay. But two people who love each other, who share the same body parts, is like so disturbing.
This one gets me. Every time you see the battle, right, just before a state legalizes gay marriage, the first couple getting married is always two adorable little old ladies. You ever notice that?
Yeah.
It's always two little old ladies who've been together for 40 years.
Yeah.
But
or this like two big old bear, like rednecky kind of looking people, and I'm like, good for you.
Harmless. They're always harmless. So
okay, so I wanted to ask you, you mentioned all the movie spending this weekend for Valentine's Day.
No, I know what you're going to say.
You know what I'm going to ask you? You have to ask. So did you go see 50 Shades of Grey?
No. Did you read 50 Shades of Grey?
I read it only so that I would be culturally literate.
Are you serious?
I read the whole
are you serious?
I'm serial.
Are you super serial?
I read the whole trilogy just to be culturally literate and see what everybody else was talking about. It was all right. It was a little formulaic and contrived and kind of not really credible. But, you know, whatever. I just feel like the casting is so terrible that I just I can't buy the story with these people.
So currently the film is, of course, a hit, but it's got, already on IMDb, it's rated 3.9 stars out of 10. It's got 30% fresh rating on RottenTomatoes.com. And people are saying, well, I mean, sales and critical success don't always match up. You know, Michael Bay movies are always hits. Doesn't mean they're good. I read an article, New York Times. It was either New York Times or some magazine that said that if you didn't know, E.L. James or 50 Shades of Grey, and you picked up this book, you wouldn't assume that the author's first language was English. Because it's really written. So I got some history.
It's not really so well written.
It's just it's actually kind of fascinating. Did you know? First of all, 50 Shades of Grey comes from fan fiction from Twilight, another great literary series.
That does not surprise me. That's
does.
Not surprising.
This person, E.L. James, the pen name of the author, actually started posting. She called it Master of the Universe, and it was
Isn't that He-Man? I thought He-Man was the Master of the Universe.
She started posting fan fiction, Bella and the vampire doing some creepy, freaky sex stuff, and people liked it so much she ended up compiling it together, changed their names to Anastasia and Christian. And
interesting.
That's where 50 Shades of Grey comes from. So everybody who loves it, just remember, your favorite book comes from fan fiction tossed out by somebody who liked Twilight, and we all remember what great literary achievement Twilight is. Actually, it's Mormon fantasy. Did you know that?
Really?
Stephanie Meyers with Twilight is a Mormon, and you notice, of course, Bella and Edward don't.
I don't know because I don't watch that stuff.
I tutor kids and they talk about it, and they don't do it until they get married and all that stuff, and it's a whole nother show worth of weirdness we can get to.
But it's kind of weird that in such a debaucherous novel that the protagonist is named Christian. Like they're doing such dirty, naughty things, and his name is Christian.
I think it's like, from what I've read about the character, I couldn't get past the first 2 chapters. Because I'm a literary snob. I don't want to. I read Shakespeare for fun, and I'm not trying to sound like an elitist, but I used to teach English. It's my language. and I love reading. I love it, and I couldn't get past the first 2 chapters of 50 Shades of Grey. I couldn't.
Yeah.
Oh man, I wish I had some. Next time I'll bring some.
I'll bring you the trilogy if you want to read it. I think I still have
I
it.
see people reading it on the bus. It's so creepy. All right.
It's like porn for moms.
That's what they call it. That's on the Wikipedia article. They actually have it says mommy porn.
Mommy porn.
Oh.
I mean, that says something about how sexually repressed our society is, that women have to turn to this.
I was reading something about how it was popular in the South because it's about a man owning a woman.
You know, this is a whole other discussion, but I've heard from people who know something about the BDSM community, this is not at all representative. It is not how that goes.
Yeah.
It's not like, I'm not going to get into all that. But anyway, it's not really anything about being sexist or anti-feminist or anything. Like the woman has plenty of power in that situation,
right.
And it's consensual, and it's not about ownership or whatever.
It's basically 2 people, and they have like, I like being spanked. I will give you permission to do that to me, you know, in the comfort of our home or wherever. And it's not, you know, sword and sandal fantasy that people think it is. It's actually kind of
I feel like it's harmless. I mean,
it is
am I going to
harmless.
lose my feminist card if I say that? Seems like harmless fun to me. I don't know.
All right.
But we should probably move on to some more serious, pressing matters. I feel like we need a new segment called like Shooting of the Week or something.
Oh.
Because it's like we had the Charlie Hebdo thing in Paris. Now we've had another shooting in Copenhagen. Copenhagen,
Denmark.
Yeah, Denmark. Where the same guy, Lars Vilks, who is a cartoonist who dared draw a cartoon of the Prophet Muhammad, they think it was directed at him. He was the target. 1 person was killed. I think a couple cops were injured. And Lars had to have his security people whisk him away. Now, clearly, that's like a hate crime. It's, you know, they're trying to shut down the freedom of speech. You're not allowed to criticize the prophet, which to me means it's all the more reason that we need to.
Yeah.
Because nothing can be sacred like that. And
that's true,
beyond criticism.
It makes me want to keep my mouth shut. Maybe they're winning because I'm afraid. I mean, let's put it this way. I'm not religious, so it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
And if they don't want me to talk about it, fine. You know, if it keeps me from getting hurt.
It's a slippery
I know that
slope.
sounds it is a slippery slope, and it sounds very cowardly, but that's...
Well, it's kind of what the Pope said. Like, no, you don't have a right to kill anybody, but you shouldn't insult their religion.
I don't like that, but.
It's the but.
I mean,
you just shouldn't kill anybody, period.
Right.
And, you know, that kind of leads me to the next story. We want to get through the news a little quickly today. I'm sure everybody's heard about the shooting in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, where the atheist shot, I mean, I don't even like to frame it this way, but the murderer was an atheist, and the victims were Muslim.
You know what they're going to say about us?
What's that?
Oh, no, the victims were Muslims, but they're going to say, you know, the no true Scotsman fallacy.
Right.
You know what I mean? And,
right. He wasn't a real, because that's what the Christians do a lot of times. If there's like, if there's somebody violent, and a lot of religious people do that, if there's somebody violent, that's the no true Scotsman fallacy. This person is not really representative of us.
Right.
But the fact is that people are people, and violence is, you know, widespread. Everybody has the propensity and the potential to be violent.
Right.
No matter what you believe.
I'm not trying to speak up for the guy because we're atheists. I'm not trying to paint it over like this, but I from what I keep reading about it, he really did shoot these people because of a parking lot dispute.
Yeah.
But of course, people who look at us, people like us, we're immoral. We have no values, and of course they're going to say, just like how people say, yeah, you know, Hitler was an atheist, Stalin was an atheist, Pol Pot was an atheist.
Hitler was Roman Catholic. But
yeah. I mean, like Christopher Hitchens pointed it out on their belt buckles. It said "Gott mit uns," God is with us, and you had to swear allegiance when you were sworn into the SS or whatever. But that's neither here nor there. I don't think it is.
Well, you know, I was thinking about this the other day because I was on my way to work, and I've tried to leave the radio off these days so I can just have a moment of peace. And I get stuck behind this idiot driver doing, like, I'm not kidding, like 35 in a 55 in rush hour. And it makes me, I can feel my blood pressure rising.
Is the car
I
powered
can see
on
the light
coal?
is going to turn. It was like a 2-cylinder Toyota Yaris. I mean, those should not be in the left lane ever for any reason. I'm sorry. I felt like it was like there's, you know, Betty and Wilma are in the back with their feet. Like, it was terrible. Anyway, I mean, move over. But anyway, like, it was making me nuts. And I thought, if I ran this person off the road, because it wasn't until I had to pass on the right, that I saw that it was a little Muslim lady with the headscarf and everything. Now, if I had run her off the road like was tempting, would that have been because I'm an atheist, or would it be because she's a horrible driver? And it made me crazy. Like, it had nothing to do with her religion. I didn't know who it was till I passed her.
So that begs the question, you know, what are you first? You know, are you a person first, or are you a Muslim first?
Right.
It's like, oh, she's honking at me because I'm a Muslim, not because I'm driving terribly.
Exactly.
You know,
like, and it's the same with the shooting. You can't say that just because someone is an atheist and someone else is a Muslim, no one's yelling Allah Akbar.
Right.
You know.
We're not saying that what he did was right.
No.
It was a terrible thing, and it was a tragedy. It was a terrible thing that these people, you know, got killed over something so asinine. Obnoxious, but I don't want. It hasn't started yet, or at least I haven't read.
Well, they're trying to call it a hate crime, I think.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the media is always looking for a way to frame it sensationally.
Right. Then that makes us all try to reframe what a hate crime actually is.
Yeah.
You know.
I think anytime you murder somebody, isn't it kind of like inherently a hate crime? It's not really a nice thing to do.
But if I murder you because I hate what you are. You know,
but if you hate that someone's a bad driver, is that any better than, you know?
No. Okay. I think it's a hate crime if it's something that person can't change within religion.
They can change. See, this is our topic for a whole other time. But we do have to go to a break real quick, and when we come back, we're going to play a new game that Tiffany invented called Poe or No.
So we'll see when we get back.
Stay tuned. Come back.
First, I shall disappoint people by saying that I am not in the least religious. My father was once the second Church Estates Commissioner. I was christened and I was confirmed, but since then I have lost those beliefs and faith that I once had, and I'm perfectly comfortable with that. With these brave words, James Arbuthnot, a conservative British MP of the Tory party, came out as an atheist after serving for over a quarter century in the district of Northeast Hampshire as a closeted unbeliever. Arbuthnot, who formerly served as Tory chief whip and held a position known as front bench for a party known to appeal to Anglican voters, has only a few months left to serve before he leaves the House of Commons for good. The MP said, "It may be true that the pressure on a conservative politician, particularly of keeping quiet about not being religious, is very similar to the pressure that there has been about keeping quiet about being gay." He added, "It is telling that it has taken me 28 years in this House, and frankly in the knowledge that I won't be standing in the next election, to make this point." With the unimposing title of Stand with the Prophet Against Terror and Hate, a fundraiser, education, and awareness seminar in Richardson, a small community near Garland, Texas, has brought out the haters. Shouting through a bullhorn such thing as "Time to repent," and "Islam is filled with murder, this is your wake-up call," and "How many of you Muslims are terrorists?" Reuben Israel, the street preacher from Los Angeles, gathered with about a dozen other Christian protesters outside ISD's Caldwell Center. Other reports indicate that several hundred other protesters from groups such as Jihad Watch were also gathered in protest. That group's director, Robert Spencer, said of the Muslims, "They have too long controlled the discourse and shut down any honest examination of motives and goals of terrorists by crying Islamophobia." The FBI has also been alerted to several threats of violence received through social media. The event was organized by the Islamic Multimedia Foundation Sound Vision, which is headquartered in Chicago. Alia Salem, with the North Texas chapter of CARE, the Council on American Islamic Relations, said that 500 participants attended the event to raise money for their program to educate others about Islam and Muslims for the purpose of combating Islamophobia, terrorism, and hate.
Welcome back to Rotaries, the Skeptic's Guide to the 21st Century.
Where did Scott come from?
Where did I come from? Where did you come from?
Where did Scott come from?
Where did any of us come from?
He wasn't here.
I didn't come from no damn monkey, that's for damn sure.
When a mommy loves a daddy, he holds her very close.
And now now for other news.
Right. Well,
So anyway, we're going to do a game that you came up with,
I came up with
and I'm very proud to do it. It's called Poe, No Poe.
Poe or no Poe?
So depending on whether it's a Poe or no Poe,
It's a little bit low budget this week. 'cause
Yeah.
it's low budget.
Experimenting.
But we also wanted to follow through on some stuff that we're going to be doing on a regular basis, and I want to tell our viewers, we love our viewers, but you all did not come up with an atheist of the week, and you did not come up with a joke of the week.
I don't
posted
love them.
on our
I'm just kidding. I
Facebook
love you
page.
guys.
But our two wonderful hosts here came up with a joke of the week. Who wants to tell the joke of the week?
It's very cheesy.
We were talking about it, and I had to hold my pants closed because I was laughing so much. No, but go ahead.
Now, what do you call a nun with insomnia?
I don't know. What do you call a nun with insomnia?
Roman Catholic. I'm trying to keep it clean so as not to offend anybody. I'm not going to tell the one about the
That
pedophile
was
priest.
adorable.
It was clean. It was PG.
It was
Very
very
PG.
That was
PG. It's
very
very cute.
PG. Very PG. That's like something of. I love it. I love it.
And
Okay.
you
I was
found,
gonna say a little kid.
you found a news bit that I thought was really cool about somebody making a Darwin Day. What's that all about?
Oh, that was in Omaha, Nebraska. The mayor has declared an official Darwin Day. in support-
Nebraska.
Nebraska, of all places.
Nebraska of
But
all
they
places.
endorse science and reason, and so they declared February 12th Darwin Day
Well,
to be celebrated.
I don't know that we can anoint that person as atheist of the week because we don't know if they're an atheist.
Don't know.
But we will what do you say? Whatever. Anyway, we're bestowing it on you all the same, just as being nice for the week. So we'll call you the reasonable person of the week.
Reasonable person of the week.
Yes, to the
That's
the
very
mayor.
reasonable.
That's very reasonable. To that mayor, we salute you.
Thank you.
So before we get into the game, is there any other news announcements you guys got, or should we jump into this?
Well, I think we should explain. I'm not sure everybody knows what a Poe is.
Okay.
So
What Poe's
it's-
Law is.
What Poe's Law is was named after Nathan Poe, the inventor. It has other origins potentially, but it was kind of made popular by him, who says that there's no way that you can make a parody so ridiculous that at some level people won't think it's true. Like there's nothing so extreme. It's like trolling.
What do you call religion?
We need a drum set in here for
You
that.
know, we put it this way. Sometimes someone says something so crazy that you're not even sure if they're sincere or not.
Right.
If someone is a street preacher, it could be a sketch on TV or something. It's almost believable, but it's almost not believable. And there's a fine
Right.
line. And so you have to apply Poe's Law to see if that person is being genuine or not.
So I see. What my job is to figure out if you're being a Poe
Yeah,
Right.
if the story,
or you're being a no Poe.
or
Right.
if it's genuine.
Right.
If it's someone faking us all out, or if it's an actual real thing. And this is going to be a game because sometimes people are so out there, you don't know if they're joking or
Right.
not.
It's hard to tell
It is
between
hard to tell.
satire and, especially, I mean, Republicans and evangelists make this very difficult. I have to
Yeah.
Google a lot of this stuff and check Snopes.
All right.
Because it's very hard to know.
I can find some Democrats.
We're going to
too.
do that.
All right.
That's true.
This is a nonpartisan
I feel like
show.
Charles Riley, like from Hollywood Squares. It's like oh, my dear, I'd have to say that's a poem. Anyway, let's do it.
All right, so I apologize that I'm going to have to read this from my screen because it's just too much to remember.
Oh, and when you do this, I just want to say to our viewers, this is, I'm only breaking this in. We're expecting you all to call in the future when we do this, and you answer the questions of Poe, No Poe.
We should have prizes.
We should. If you think we should have prizes, tell us on our Facebook page and let us know what you think those prizes should be.
Oh, you really want to open that up to these people?
I'm not saying that we
will.
will do their suggestions. I'm saying I'm interested in hearing them.
This is kind of a debaucherous bunch. This could go badly. Anyway, all right, let's get started. I think I have 4 different questions for you all, and you're going to have to determine Poe or no. Okay, first headline is that Republican Representative David Moore announced a new bill in Montana legislature this week that would expand the state's indecent exposure laws to include tight-fitting clothing, saying that he believes yoga pants should be illegal in public. Poe or no?
I'm going to say no.
I know this. I read it on the internet.
I'm going to say no.
If you see it on the internet, you know it's true.
That's what
No.
Abraham Lincoln said.
But I'm going to say no, but I think when people start talking about how crazy that sounds, I bet you he's going to say he was joking the whole time. So I'm going to change it.
If there's enough public outcry.
yeah.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? It was
That's
just
what it
yoga pants without underwear on.
Yeah.
That's all I meant.
Right.
Or he was
That's
like, oh, I was
indecent.
just joking the whole time. I bet you when people start talking
Yeah.
about how stupid that sounds,
Yeah.
he's
Well,
going to say I was joking the
Now,
whole time.
I will say there are some people that should definitely be banned from wearing yoga
can't say
pants.
that.
Are you talking about you?
You can't say that.
Definitely me. You should never. It should be like a capital punishment crime to see me walking around in yoga pants. In either case.
But you know what, though? I think that
No
might-
Poe.
I think it's a real story.
Yeah.
It is a real story. But it's interesting because it also came up on The Onion.
So it's
because
No
they
Poe.
were. Well, it came up on The Onion as well.
serious?
Because they were getting, you know, how they have their little feedback comments about, like ridiculous comments about it. So it was on Huffington Post and on The Onion. So it was very hard to discern whether it was satire or not, because Republicans say the darndest things.
It's true. This
All
is
right.
fun. All right,
But
who's
we're
next one?
nonpartisan.
We're nonpartisan.
We're
I'm not nonpartisan, but the
Yes,
show
I
is
can-
nonpartisan.
We can talk about some crazy liberals and vaccinations next time, but go ahead.
That's right.
That's a whole other thing.
That's a whole nother thing.
All right.
Go ahead.
So, okay. Less
So
than
did we win that round?
You win.
Yay!
We need some kind of like bell or something.
I
We'll
am
get
so
one.
smart.
Okay, I
I'll
think
get
I have one from my
one.
As the
Bronco game.
producer of the show, I will get a bell.
It's a high budget show. All right, number 2. Less than a month after saying Catholics don't have to multiply like rabbits, Pope Francis on Wednesday again praised big families, telling a gathering in St. Peter's Square that having more children is not an irresponsible choice. He said that opting not to have children, like you and you, is selfish. Selfish people. Citing European countries where the fertility rate is especially low, the Pope said they are depressed societies because they don't want children. Life rejuvenates and acquires energy when it multiplies. It is enriched, not impoverished.
Oh, come on. Come on.
You know, I just think there's too much dialogue there for the Pope.
Yeah, I'm
There's
gonna say
way
that's,
too
I'm gonna
much-
say that's an Onion story.
There's way too much explanation in that. There's
Yeah.
too much articulation in there. And then at one point he said something about not producing like rabbits, and I refuse to believe the man
and
ever said
then,
anything.
and then the fact that Catholics believe that you have as many children as possible. I think that's like
You
an
know
Onion
why?
story. Because every time, every sperm is sacred.
Every sperm is grand.
But no, that's got to be fake.
You're both wrong. You're both wrong.
That's a real story.
That was for real, according to Huffington Post.
So he says it's.
You are selfish for not having children.
I'm starting to like this guy.
No, I liked him until the Charlie Hebdo, like, if
Oh,
they're
yeah,
okay to
his
murder people
butt.
if they...
That we were talking
Yeah.
about. But that seriously sounded like a fake story.
I know,
It's selfish
right?
not to have children.
You're selfish not to have
come
children.
on. So
You
that
know-
means basically we're all reduced to our reproductive functions.
Yeah.
And if we don't functionate those reproductive functionations, then we're being selfish.
We're
But-
basically uterus ovens.
Yeah.
But
That sounds delicious.
I'm the producer of the show, and I quit.
You should never have let us off our leashes.
Hey, there's our bell sound.
There's our bell. Bing!
So we
right.
got it. Okay.
Well, I just will say it's funny. We're reproductive organs, yet we're not supposed to consider ourselves evolved primates. Huge separation of rational.
We
We'll
look.
go
We
get into
only
that.
share like
All right.
96% of DNA with primates, so that you can't really say that there's any correlation there.
What else?
Well,
Okay.
those selfish mountain gorillas.
The
were going
other
extinct.
4% is what makes us God's children. And that's why we're going to heaven and the monkeys are not.
The bell scared me. All right,
That's
go
awesome.
ahead. Read the
Okay,
next one.
the next
This
one-
is fun. This
Next
is fun.
one.
This may be my favorite.
Okay.
So, did you all hear Sarah Palin's like inane rant recently when her teleprompter broke?
Yeah.
I was gonna say you need to
She's talking
clarify
about-
which.
I mean,
is the
yeah, which
rant.
one?
Well, she's talking about you bend your back and can't fool me twice. I don't know, but go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to say for the record, we don't have teleprompters here, which maybe is obvious, but maybe that would be good actually.
No.
But once you say something on this show, it's out there, so I apologize just unilaterally. Anyway, so the next story. This is kind of redundant, a confused Sarah Palin, like there's any other kind. A confused Sarah Palin appeared on Fox News this morning and blasted Islamic extremists for killing the cartoonist who drew the Charlie Brown comic strip. The Fox and Friends crew were baffled by Palin's diatribe until they realized she was mistaking Charlie Hebdo, the French satirical magazine targeted by Al-Qaeda, with the iconic American comic strip character. I just don't get why Muslims hate Charlie Brown so much. she proclaimed. It's good, wholesome family entertainment. I think religious conservatives would enjoy that kind of thing.
He said, I think that's a fake story.
Yeah, it's got to be true.
You think-
It's just too damn whacked out of its head.
I think it's fake. I think I'm going to call Poe on this one.
And this one, I'm sorry, it's like, it's kind of like when Bush ran around and said that
our children
mine is a terrible thing to lose.
Right.
I mean, it's just some things are so friggin' absurd. They can't even be a joke. They got to be real. That is no.
That's a joke. I mean, she's dumb, but she ain't that dumb.
Yeah.
Well, really, is that the argument you want to go with?
I can't explain it because it's like the cliff of dumb. You know, you climb up just like a roller coaster, and that sounds like it's teetering on the edge about to go down.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Is it
So,
fake?
So that's from the Daily Current, which is satire.
Oh, I won. I
give her
won.
the bell. Thank you.
Yay! With Sarah Palin, you just don't know. With her,
I mean, but that sounded almost for real because she can see Russia from the house and all that stuff.
Well, I mean, you saw the turkey rendering video, right? Where they're slaughtering turkeys and they're chopping their heads off, and she's just standing there in front of them. The guy, turkey killing geek, turns out he's like with the camera, and she's just going on with her pitch, and see the damn turkey's feet twitching and stuff. And, I mean, just when it comes to her, man, it's like I used to work for a political campaign firm, and they gave us like examples. They gave us examples of things not to let accidentally air, and it was like a radio spot where she was like, everybody knows that mama bears love to eat their young. And it's like, no, you stupid, it's to protect their young, not eat their young. So, I mean, when you read that to me, I'm sorry, I had first-hand experience to make me think.
I see. That's what. So he has good reason to think that was real.
Yeah.
It just sounded too over the top. But then you can't be sure, and that's the point of this game.
well, you never know. It's like
So we've both been right once.
We've both been right one.
We've both been wrong once. And then you were right once and I was wrong once. So
Is there one more?
So
There's
you're
one more.
ahead.
Yay.
there's one more.
I feel this one.
And this one's another toughie.
Okay.
Like, it's very well written, so you might be confused.
All right.
Okay, last and final question. There is a group, Christians Against Dinosaurs, CAD. They say that scientists simply manipulate old rocks into bone-like shapes, and then they lie through their teeth by calling them dinosaur fossils. Quote, aside from the educational aspect, dinosaurs are a very bad example for children. At my children's school, said one mom, several children were left in tears after one of their classmates, who had evidently been exposed to dinosaurs, became bestially minded and ran around the classroom roaring, pretending to be a dinosaur. And then he bit 3 children on the face. I'm really concerned about dinosaurs, and I think something needs to be done. The science behind them is very flimsy, and I, for one, do not want my children being taught these lies. Did you know that no one even heard of dinosaurs before the 1800s, when they were invented by curio-hungry Victorians? End quote.
No, we had dragons before that.
Okay. All right. This is
The
a tough.
problem
We
is,
need that Jeopardy music.
The problem is, yes, we do. And you know what? I promise you, as the producer of this show, I will get some.
Sweet.
You know,
The problem is, I've heard some Christians, not all Christians, but some Christians say things, and I guess this is why we're doing Poe, No Poe. Oh, hey, the dinosaur bones were planted. So the story is completely plausible. The question is, does this organization exist? And do I believe a kid really went around and bit other friends in the face?
that's where it's getting me because I was going for it, and then when she's like, "Oh," then he pretended to be a dinosaur. I'm like,
Which I can see. Kids are
Yeah,
like, I'm a T-Rex.
it's
yay."
called imagination.
Right, it's imagination. But
You
the actual
know?
biting in the face is the part where it just
Kids
doesn't.
do stupid things.
Yeah, but 3 of them? Nobody bit him back?
They didn't stop him. Nobody caught him. And maybe he liked the taste of human flesh. But I'm going to say, you know what? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say that's a real story.
I'm going to say that this is Poe. It's fake.
I'm going to say it's real.
Tiffany gets the bell. This is a real story. Christians Against Dinosaurs.
It's a real
It's a real thing.
deal.
Apparently, they have videos on Facebook and 6,500 likes.
6,500?
Apparently.
I'm sorry for yelling,
Apparently.
That's a lot of people to agree with you. Now, are those people pose or no pose for joining
Well,
that
that's
group?
the thing. Do they think it's a joke, or are these kind of people that go to museums like you were talking about earlier?
Talking about Megan Fox. Have you ever
Yeah.
seen that? Not the Transformers Megan Fox. It's some lady. Her video's been on YouTube since late last year. And she's walking around the museum talking about how fake everything is.
Like
Look
the
at
Natural
this.
History
Show
Museum.
me the evidence. Show me the evidence. And walking past,
I've seen that.
You seen that? Yeah. So.
But these are the same people that require absolutely no evidence whatsoever for the way they live their lives based on this Bible, which is demonstrably false.
Mm-hmm.
Not only is there no evidence for it, but there's evidence against it, and
Right.
they ignore it because they have faith.
And when
but
you show them the
scientific
evidence, they dispute that
Right.
it's even evidence.
Yeah.
Or they even dispute the scientific method of finding such evidence.
Right.
We dug up this dinosaur. No, you planted it first. You made the bones.
They think that
Show me that evidence.
So,
radioactivity is like a trick of the devil.
so the way she puts it in that quote you gave, it makes it sound like some kind of conspiracy for some end.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's a
Apropos
test of faith.
nothing. Yeah, but why?
To test your faith, because God is good.
But why?
Because that's why. Because faith, that's why.
No, but
Listen, you doubting Thomas, or you doubting
Because
Tiffany.
Jesus loves you.
But I mean, why would any government, any scientific, any university spend so much time, money, effort on faking material to fill up
It's
a
the
museum?
same thing about the moon landing.
But you know what? I believe it.
And vaccines.
So,
vaccines.
so that game was fun, and I want to
It
do
was
it
fun.
again.
That was fun.
I
Thank
wanna
you
do
for
it again.
playing, being good sports.
Even though I lost.
Tiffany wins.
Yeah.
Her BS meter's a little stronger.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's really hard to tell sometimes.
It is.
I mean,
which is kind of frightening. When
it's
you
very
think about
scary.
Well, I think we're going to take a short PSA break, and when we come back, I'm going to leave you with these two. I can't take any more of them.
Thanks, Paul.
it. No Poe.
Preventing wildfires. That's all Smokey wants for his 70th birthday.
Thank you, dear. Well, you're very supple. Just like I was at your age. Back then, I was a sex expert. Used to call me the buttered biscuit. I know about birth control, too. So you can ask me anything, baby.
Bedsider.org has birth control information and a lot more. And it's...
Have you had sex in this car yet?
This is Richard Dawkins. Doing commercials is unfamiliar territory for me, but I'm inviting you to watch Road to Reason, a skeptic's guide to the 21st century, on Fairfax Public Access every Sunday. Each week the hosts tackle wishful thinking, religion, pseudoscience, and the harm they cause, with a combination of facts, humor, and community involvement. They challenge believers to defend their faith and give you, the skeptic, a voice. With live call-ins for viewers and streaming on the World Wide Web, there's never a dull moment. Don't wait. Look at them now on Facebook and YouTube, and remember to watch Road to Reason, a skeptic's guide to the 21st century, or there'll be hell to pay.
Looks like it's done.
Don't let salmonella get funky with your chicken. On average, 1 in 6 Americans will get a foodborne illness this year. You can't see these microbes, but they might be there. So learn the right temperature to cook each type of meat. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov.
Welcome back.
They're back.
I'm the most interesting man in the world.
What have you been watching?
I don't know. There's something about that commercial always made me smile.
Oh, that's funny.
The most interesting man in the world. But
Alrighty
stay classy,
then.
my friends.
Okay, so I was going to ask you. I asked you about Valentine's Day and 50 Shades of Grey. You know what other very important holiday was last week? The Omaha, Nebraska residents know. Darwin Day.
Darwin Day, Darwin Day.
Happy Darwin Day.
Happy Darwin Day. Even though we missed it, happy belated Darwin Day.
Yeah, that was on the 12th.
And speaking of like Nebraska, the mayor of Omaha declaring it is. I'm about to make my geography sound dumb. Isn't Nebraska next door to Kansas?
Something like that.
Something like that. It's all fine.
It's the Midwest.
Please forgive us.
No offense.
Nebraskans. But that's where the famous Scopes monkey trial was held. And that was about 100 years ago.
It's been a while, yeah.
It's been a while. But that sort of thing may be coming back. You know?
What do you mean?
Well, everyone, you've got Kim Ham doing his thing in Kentucky, trying to sue the states because they won't give him the taxpayer incentives. He's saying he's being persecuted. You heard about the Ark encounter, right?
Right, but this is the thing, and I think Jon Stewart had a bit on this. Like, a lot of Christians confuse not getting their way and exerting their privilege with being repressed somehow. Like, they're being persecuted if they're not allowed to have tax breaks for like a building, trying to rebuild Noah's Ark. By the way, the Noah's Ark thing, I was thinking about this on the way in today. Because it's like a nursery theme. A friend of mine at work is pregnant, and I was checking out Babies R Us to get something for her, because even atheists like to give gifts and stuff.
Right. Instead of eat the baby.
Yeah, I'm not going to eat her baby or anything. But anyway, Noah's Ark is like a big theme at Babies R Us. It's these cute little animals, and they all go in the little boat, and you can get the borders and the crib bumpers and like the bath toys and everything. And it just seems so like weird to me and revisionist, because the whole point was to put these 2x2 on the boat so that God could murder the entire rest of the world. And there's no toys for that. Like, where are those toys? Like, it seems like the rest of those toys should be like thrown in the bathtub, and everyone's drowning, and you turn the jets on in the jacuzzi, and
it is
you have the Great Flood. Like, it's so bizarre that this is a toy.
When you think about it, the way to make that story, which is actually kind of horrifying cute, is to have a two little stuffed giraffes on a big overstuffed art. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Super cute. Like, the toys are really cute, and like the way the little bubbly little animals are super cute.
Right.
But it's so weird that they're leaving out like the whole homicide, genocide, sociopath part of the story.
It's homicide and genocide isn't cute though.
I know. So I guess we ignore those parts as like maybe they're just metaphors or something.
But like we're talking about evolution, and they say that like I think it's in the 40s percentage of Americans who don't, and I don't like to use the term believe in evolution.
Let's say accept.
I would say understand or accept. All right, it's not a system that you believe in or disbelieve in. It is science that you either understand or don't.
Yeah.
Right. And so they say it's like 40% of Americans don't understand the theory of evolution, and they're still arguing. Like Texas puts out more textbooks than any other state, and they're still arguing about what to put in there, and the warning sticker inside the biology books. Like this book has information that's controversial about evolution and and it makes me wonder why people don't understand.
Well, I think part of it is that people misunderstand the meaning of the word theory.
Right.
Like they think that a theory is a hypothesis. These are not the same thing. A theory is a way of tying different facts together. The facts are the facts. Even should the theory change, it doesn't mean that the underlying facts aren't valid.
Right.
And they think that a hypothesis is some kind of like, I can't say that on the air, a wild something guess. It's not. It's just not like a wild guess. And I kind of think, okay, even if evolution is not true, and even if there's some other explanation, the difference is that science will reevaluate.
Right.
Like science has peer-reviewed articles. We're always looking to disprove what we believe and make it better and stronger and truer. Religion is beyond reproach, beyond examination. You are not allowed to ask questions. And to me, even if evolution is false, it doesn't mean that God made the earth. Like these are not A and B, and these are the only choices.
Yeah, that's true. You either have.
It kind of doesn't matter.
It's like saying, "What do you want for dinner?" Oh, don't worry. Oh, so just throw the whole oven out the window.
Well, that's
sort of thing.
obviously the answer.
No, It doesn't work like that. I mean, when you
have you seen that puzzle?
Tell me what puzzle.
There's this funny puzzle going around the internet, and it's a mostly completed puzzle like of a tiger, and there's like 2 pieces missing. So the creationist is like, oh, it's a whale. Obviously, it might be a whale. 2 pieces are missing. That I don't know that that's a tiger. Could be a whale.
Yeah.
Just because like some of the little gaps are unexplained so far.
One thing that we who understand and accept science for what it is, you say, is you know what, we don't know yet. But that's why you've got people like Jane Goodall who've been sitting in the bush for 40 years trying to answer those questions, trying to figure out those missing pieces of the puzzle. It's not going to come to us overnight. And what we know about evolution now may not be the same information that we'll have in 20 years.
Right.
I mean, I was reading something about the Big Bang Theory. We may have gotten that all wrong. I still need to read more about it, but how interesting. No, that's not devastating to our beliefs. That's interesting because we're learning more.
Well, I think a big important distinction is that we don't try to tell other people how to live their lives based on this science. We're not like, because evolution is true, gay people can't marry. Like, what's that got to do with anything?
I'm gonna call Poe on that one.
You would hope. It's not a dogmatic belief system.
Right.
It's, you know what I mean? Like, it has no real impact. And if we lost all the information in the world today, science is rediscoverable the same way it is. The boiling point of water, all this stuff is rediscoverable. It's testable. It's like that. You see the South Park episode on Mormonism?
Oh, I love that episode.
Oh my gosh! If you guys haven't seen this, it's so hysterical. Basically, he looks in this magic hat with a magic plate, and he makes up this ridiculous story, which people still believe it. They believe this. I mean, it's insane, magical underwear and planets, and
we could do a whole episode on Mormonism.
Yeah,
but not today.
It's so ridiculous. I mean, it's not really that much more ridiculous than any of the other religions. It's just newer.
I think it's up there.
But it's funny because even in the South Park episode, the wife was really smart and said, "I don't believe this. Go back and ask him that story again. I'm going to keep the transcripts. You go find out again."
Right.
Of course, Joseph Smith can't reinvent that same story the same way.
Right.
And he says that it's God's punishment that he can't tell it the same way because he was bad for losing the transcript. I mean, there's a whole.
I would have said the same thing.
Of course,
it sounds like something like if you were cheating in school and your teacher was like, "Well, do it again." Oh,
now I
can't.
Exactly.
I can't tell if he was insane or a genius.
I think he was a genius. He was a con artist. He was a convicted con artist.
That's true.
Who then created a religion and made just like Joel Osteen and all these other people who take in gobs of money.
I call him Mr. Teeth.
He does have nice teeth, like big teeth.
Joel.
He has, you know what? He has some very inspiring, pithy quotes. I'll give him that. But the one day that the church till was robbed, $600,000 was missing. One day's take. And
wait, one day? 600,000?
That mega church. One day. And where does that money go? It is not to the poor people. It's to Joel Osteen's 15th house in Australia. I'm guessing. I don't know. I'm not making that claim.
Does he have 15?
No, I'm exaggerating for effect.
No, but it wouldn't surprise me if he did.
But I'm just saying that all that money goes who knows where.
Right.
But all of that is to say that religion is not rediscoverable in the same way because it's completely fabricated.
Right.
So you can't test it. It's not a theory. It's like, oh, we have faith, Whereas science wants to be tested and wants to be refined. And you're right. Maybe evolution is not exactly as we think, but we have not infringed on anyone's life by believing or accepting it the way it is.
Understanding and accepting it. And I do think it's detrimental to future scientists when you try to tell people that the argument is in the air. There's a debate going. No, there's not a debate going on about evolution, about natural selection. You can see. I mean, you look at a gorilla's hand, and look at our hand. You can't see that. Yeah, we're related. We were tree climbing mammals at one point, but when we stopped climbing trees and we needed our paws to grab, you see our fingers elongated, our claws flattened out and became nails.
Yeah. Well, I think we have a graphic even of the progression of man.
I can't stand this picture, but go on.
Why can't you stand the picture?
Because I'll show you. Can you put that picture up for us?
Yeah.
There.
I mean, you see how we've become upright over the millions of years?
It makes it, what people talk about is like, they'll misinterpret this image. They'll say that first little guy all the way over on the left, oh, that's a chimpanzee. Well, no, he's not supposed to be. Oh.
Okay.
You've got to be kidding me. Carla?
Carla's on the phone. Hi, Carla, you're on the air.
Oh, hi.
Hi, we've missed you.
Oh, listen, I've got a kind of a flu, but I wanted to say this, you know, you guys are so phenomenal. Really. And the echoing is terrible. I don't know if it's my phone, so I'm just going to say this. You were talking about how, of course, religion, if it's lost, it's not, you cannot reproduce it.
No.
Okay, whereas scientific things you can. So I'm going to, following your discussion today, take the 50 Shades of Grey book, go over to a Middle Eastern country with a cave, shove the damn thing in the cave, let some explorer find it. That's the new Bible.
I missed you, Carla. I missed you, Carla.
I love that. I love that. That's a fantastic idea.
She's absolutely right. Somebody will dig that up and think that that's what we worship back in the day. Oh, that thing was so boring.
Well, we'll have to bury a box of toys with it so they'll understand in context.
Thank you for talking.
That's a great idea, Carla.
We know she's gone, but she said she heard echo, and that's why she's gone. But we'll miss her. She'll call back next week.
Yeah, she's a loyal follower. We need more of those.
Yeah.
We need more people to call in and be engaged and involved.
I want her to play Poe or No Poe next week.
Oh, and we should line that up.
We should line that up. But I want to go back to that picture.
Okay, back to the picture.
Back to that picture, right? What people say when they see this picture is that the little guy all the way on the left is a chimpanzee.
Right.
No, he's not a chimpanzee. At least in this representation, he's not supposed to be. He's supposed to be what's called an Australopithecus afarensis, right? Which is neither.
That sounds like a big science word.
It is a big science word. It's neither it's not a chimpanzee. It's not anything related to. It's an ancestor that we had in common 2 million years ago.
Right.
It's what Lucy was. Those images kind of misrepresent what the Australopithecines looked like. She stood upright, Lucy.
So she was in the middle.
It's more actually the third one is more what she would have looked like, right?
Well,
and
that's a good point because you have all these people that say, if we came from monkeys, why do we still have monkeys?
That's the stupidest
thing. And it's very ignorant, and somebody at work said that to me the other day, and I just had to bite my tongue so hard because I'm not trying to get fired over this.
Well, this is what you say.
But
I'm sorry, this is what you say. No, we did not come from monkeys.
That's what I said. I'm like, no, we have a common ancestor.
We have a common ancestor.
I mean, our DNA, like we said, it's like 96. You were telling me the other day about some of the commonalities with the primates that we have.
It's not just human beings that die from the Ebola virus. Some of the great apes are also catching the virus and passing away. You know, you have mountain gorillas, you have common chimpanzees who can catch herpes simplex. Yeah, it's
Why
true.
does that make me think of Eddie Murphy?
Yeah, I know,
remember that movie? Eddie Murphy? He's like, herpes simplex too.
Yeah, but the chimpanzees can get it. And chimpanzees also get male pattern baldness.
Oh, poor things.
Gorillas, chimpanzees, bonobos, orangutans, they all can get arthritis. You know, they have the same kind of hands we do. And it's all about, you know, the one thing we like to, people who like to read about science, you know, how the earth keeps changing and blah, blah, blah. Well, we don't need our tails anymore because climate change happened, killed all the rainforests, and you had these grasslands. You don't need a tail to climb trees when there are no trees. So we jumped out the trees and we're walking through the grasslands. If I stand up, I can actually see over the grass. And the primate, the Australopithecine, who stands up the highest and can see the lion a split second faster than the other one, is going to be able to pass her genes down to somebody else. Do you see what I mean?
Yep.
That's all it is. And you know what? People act like I think it's beautiful. It's chance. You know, it is a roll of the dice, and it's whatever you fit into your environment better.
But that's a good point. That word chance is something that people kind of throw around when they're disputing evolution because
so scared of it.
Well, they don't understand that evolution is not like it's random by chance that we're like this. No, this is the product of millions and millions of years of gradual incremental change and adaptation.
Right.
It's taken forever. It's not like it's like looking at the face of a cliff. You don't realize you go around the back. There's a big long slope up to the top of the cliff. It's not like you stand there and go, how do we get up there?
Right.
There's a long, slow evolution.
That's what it is.
Now, do we have Carla back again?
Carla's back again. Are you there, honey?
Yes. I have something that, and I mean this sincerely, please.
No.
I would like somebody to run, an atheist to run in the 2016 election.
It's not going to happen.
Why? You know, Roseanne Barr came in 5th place.
Really?
Yes, this was a few years back. Look.
She had the Party of Peace and Love, I think it was called, something like that.
You know what? It sounds like something that would be awesome. And you know, a lot of people say the president now may be either agnostic or atheist. And even if he was, I could totally understand why he would pretend not to be.
Well, I think it would be good to get it out there. And I'm just going to tell you, if I didn't have shave my legs every day, I would be Lucy. And that's not a lie.
Lucy, you stand upright at least, right?
Well, I stand upright at least. That's true. But you really, because the people that I hear on this show are so truly intelligent, brilliant, educated.
Look, you're standing up. No.
And that's why I'm saying that I just get on the ticket. Atheist. One never knows. Let's start.
That's a great idea. Thank you,
too.
Carla.
Hey, we can do it.
All right.
Do it.
Thanks.
Do it.
Thank you.
Well, and I think Carla brings up a good point, which is why I kind of tend to be outspoken about being atheist.
Right.
I have a lot of friends. People like me. I feel like I'm disarming and friendly, and maybe people rethink what they think of atheists. Like they think you're these big, scary intellectuals who are mean. And
well, I am a big, scary intellectual.
Well, you are, but you can be a big, scary intellectual and also really nice and kind. And I feel like I want to give out business cards every time I do something nice for someone to say this was done by an atheist. Maybe you ought to re-examine your prejudice.
That's true.
Because we're the most hated group in America beyond the Muslims and the terrorists.
Maybe we should, get out there more, more with charity, more with education. Now, education, definitely.
Yeah.
Think about sneaking into a museum and giving away tours. They have no idea who you are, just walking around giving away a tour. It's like, wow, it's charity. I'm giving away information.
Free information.
Free information. I'm volunteering. It's like, please leave the premises. Okay.
I would think we should go to the Creation Museum.
I want to do that.
I don't want to give them my money, though.
No, I know. You don't want to give them money, but I have to. It's going to be like a pilgrimage of bizarre insanity. I have to go to. I want to do a road trip where we all pile into a bus and say, where is it? Lexington, Kentucky. or bust. You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh.
And go to the Creation Museum and see exactly what Ken Ham is doing. I don't want to give my money to Ken Ham.
I think they have people riding on dinosaurs.
They do. That's from what I've seen. Animatronic people riding on dinosaurs.
That's so funny.
Even though it was like 175 million years before that, you know what I mean? Before the Stegosaurus.
But that's the beauty of revisionist history is that you can ignore whatever that you don't like and rewrite it so that these things fit together when they otherwise wouldn't.
Right.
I did want to show you, we are running out of time, but I wanted to show you a picture real quick if we have it of these peppered moths, which are proof of ongoing evolution. And everybody, if you haven't heard of the moths, you should Google it. It's really interesting. It's pretty much the only evidence we can actually see for ourselves of evolution, which is during the Industrial Revolution, the lighter moths were more prevalent because they have camouflage with the tree. Then, after the Industrial Revolution, when all the trees were soot covered, the darker moths hid better and were not as obvious to predators.
And then you're able to pass on your gene.
They're the ones that got passed
evolution.
on. So check it out. But anyway, that was that, and I guess we're just about out of time.
We're just about out of time. So don't forget, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter.
Call in anytime.
Call in anytime.
Carla's our wonderful regular caller, but we're happy to hear from other people too and play our Poe game.
Submit your questions, submit comments, and we will see you next
Send money. No, but for real, you can send money. You can donate to Fairfax County Public Access in the name of this TV show and help us get a better dinger and stuff.
Go to your get a better dinger.
You know what I mean? The bell.
Go into your parents' wallet and send money to Soupy Sales. No, just kidding. Okay.